An aortic aneurysm is a focal dilatation of the aorta. This means the aorta becomes wider than normal. By definition, it is called an aneurysm when the outer-to-outer wall diameter is more than 3 centimeters. It is also considered an aneurysm when the diameter exceeds 1.5 times the normal diameter of the adjacent part of the vessel. The normal diameter of the abdominal aorta is up to 2 centimeters. When the aortic diameter measures between 2.5 and 2.9 centimeters, it is called subaneurysmal. Subaneurysmal aortas have about a 50% chance of progressing to a true aneurysm within 5 years. The aorta has thick and strong walls. These walls are designed to handle high blood pressure. When the wall becomes weak due to different factors, an aneurysm can form. Aneurysms are very dangerous. They can slowly increase in size over time. If an aneurysm ruptures, it can cause severe internal bleeding. This can be life-threatening. The risk of rupture increases as the aneurysm gets larger. This risk becomes very high when the diameter exceeds 5.5 centimeters. Ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysms have a very high mortality rate, reaching up to 80 to 90%. That is why you should never miss scanning the aorta during a routine abdominal ultrasound. Abdominal aortic aneurysms can have 2 shapes. One shape is fusiform. This is the most common type. The entire circumference of the aorta dilates uniformly. This creates a symmetric, spindle-like shape. The second shape is saccular. This is a localized bubble-like pouch. It involves only one side of the aortic wall. These are less common but often carry a higher risk of rupture. This is because they represent a focal area of extreme wall weakness. They often contain mural thrombus. Aneurysms are also classified based on anatomy. This classification is very important for surgeons. It helps them decide whether blood flow to the kidneys can be preserved during repair. An infrarenal aneurysm is located below the origin of the renal arteries. About 90% of abdominal aortic aneurysms are infrarenal. These are the easiest to treat with endovascular aneurysm repair. A juxtarenal aneurysm begins right at the level of the renal arteries. A suprarenal aneurysm extends above the renal arteries. It involves the part of the aorta that supplies the kidneys and sometimes the intestine. These are less common. They often occur along with an aneurysm of the thoracic aorta. Unless stated otherwise, the term abdominal aortic aneurysm usually refers to an infrarenal abdominal aortic aneurysm. Most infrarenal aneurysms are fusiform in shape. Abdominal aortic aneurysm is mainly a disease of older people. It rarely occurs before the age of 50. It affects men about 4 times more often than women. Many abdominal aortic aneurysms cause no symptoms at all. They are often discovered incidentally during imaging done for other reasons. A classic clinical finding is a pulsatile abdominal mass. Patients may also complain of abdominal or back pain. This type of pain can be a warning sign of an impending rupture. When rupture occurs, symptoms are severe and sudden. Patients may present with intense abdominal or flank pain, low blood pressure, and a pulsatile abdominal mass. This combination is known as the classic triad of a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm. Age is a major risk factor. The risk of aortic aneurysm increases as people get older. It most commonly affects men over the age of 65. Men are more likely to develop abdominal aortic aneurysms than women. Smoking is one of the strongest risk factors, especially for abdominal aortic aneurysms. Smoking not only increases the chance of developing an aneurysm, but it also accelerates aneurysm growth and raises the risk of rupture. For this reason, men aged 65 years or older with a history of smoking should be screened, even if they have no symptoms. Atherosclerosis is another important factor. High blood pressure also increases risk. Hypertension puts constant strain on the aortic wall, which promotes weakening and gradual bulging. Family history matters as well. A genetic predisposition can increase the risk of aneurysm formation. Certain inherited connective tissue disorders, such as Marfan syndrome and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, are associated with a higher risk. Infection and inflammation can also contribute. Conditions like vasculitis cause inflammation of blood vessel walls, leading to weakening. Trauma is another cause. Injuries from events like car accidents can directly damage the aorta. Ultrasound has nearly 100% sensitivity for detecting an abdominal aortic aneurysm. This makes it a very reliable tool for screening and diagnosis. During every routine ultrasound examination, it is mandatory to evaluate the entire abdominal aorta. Never scan only a part and assume the rest is normal. It should be evaluated in both short and long axis view. Special attention must be given to the entire infrarenal aorta. This is the most common location for abdominal aortic aneurysms. Always assess the iliac arteries as well. Look carefully for any associated iliac artery aneurysms or atherosclerotic plaque formation. While doing overview scan of aorta, look for focal dilation, outpouching, thrombus, atherosclerosis, and dissection flap. The main goal of the scan is to find the maximum diameter of the aorta. The measurement must be taken from the outer edge of one wall to the outer edge of the opposite wall. All measurements must be taken perpendicular to the axis of the aortic lumen. This is critical for accuracy. To ensure the measurement is truly perpendicular, longitudinal images are usually the best choice. They often provide the most accurate measurements. The measurement must always include both the anterior and posterior walls. Measure from outer edge to outer edge of the aorta, including any atherosclerotic plaque if present. If an abdominal aortic aneurysm is detected, record the maximum size and exact location of the aneurysm. Determine its relationship to the renal arteries and to the aortic bifurcation. The length of the aneurysm should also be measured. The shape of the aneurysm must always be documented. This is very important during an ultrasound examination. The longitudinal plane is the best view to identify the shape and extent of the aneurysm. In this view, you can clearly see how the aorta widens along its length. In a fusiform aneurysm, you will see a symmetrical, spindle-shaped widening. Both the anterior and posterior walls bulge out evenly. In a saccular aneurysm, you will see a sudden and distinct outpouching from one side of the aortic wall. The opposite wall remains relatively straight. It often looks like a mushroom or a berry growing off the vessel. The longitudinal plane is also used to measure the length of the aneurysm. It helps you see the relationship of the aneurysm to the renal arteries. While the longitudinal view shows the shape well, the transverse plane is essential for other reasons. If you suspect a saccular aneurysm on the longitudinal view, switching to the transverse view helps confirm it. This view shows exactly where the pouch is located on the aortic wall, such as at the 3 o'clock position. The transverse plane is also the standard view for measuring the maximum diameter. Always measure the outer to outer wall diameter. This measurement helps you determine whether the aorta meets the 3.0 cm threshold for an abdominal aortic aneurysm. On ultrasound, an abdominal aortic aneurysm appears as a focal dilatation of the aorta measuring more than 3 cm in diameter. A vessel is also considered aneurysmal if its diameter is 1.5 times the size of the adjacent normal segment. For this reason, always compare the suspected dilated area with a healthy normal segment of the same patient's aorta. It is important to remember that the aorta is naturally wider near the top. The normal diameter in the upper abdominal aorta can range from about 2.1 to 2.7 centimeters. Because of this, a measurement of 3.0 centimeters in this region may still be normal for that patient. In a large supraceliac aorta, the vessel may not be truly aneurysmal until it reaches around 4.0 centimeters. In such case, compare with normal segment of aorta. Mural thrombus is a common ultrasound finding in aneurysms. It appears as hypoechoic or echogenic material lining the inner wall of the aneurysm. This represents blood clot. Mural thrombus can make the true lumen appear smaller than the actual outer vessel size, which is why outer wall to outer wall measurement is critical. The shape of the aneurysm should always be assessed. A fusiform aneurysm shows circumferential, symmetrical dilation, and is the most common type. A saccular aneurysm appears as an asymmetric outpouching from one side of the aortic wall. If you only evaluate the aorta in the longitudinal plane, you may confidently exclude a typical fusiform aneurysm. However, you can easily miss a saccular or eccentric one-sided aneurysm. This is why transverse imaging is essential. You must visualize the entire infrarenal aorta in the transverse plane. This ensures that no localized bulge is hidden when viewing the vessel from the side. Ultrasound is less effective than CT in directly confirming rupture, but there are important signs that suggest a critical condition. One key finding is free fluid in the abdomen. In a patient with an abdominal aortic aneurysm, free fluid strongly suggests rupture. Look for hypoechoic or complex fluid near the aorta in Morrison's pouch or in the left pararenal or perirenal space. Another serious sign is wall interruption, where a focal break in the aortic wall is seen. Always correlate size with symptoms. An abdominal aortic aneurysm larger than 5.0 centimeters in a patient who is hypotensive should be treated as a rupture until proven otherwise. An infrarenal aortic fusiform dilatation is noted measuring 5.2 centimeters in maximal diameter with mural thrombus along the posterior wall. Color Doppler shows flow within the central lumen, no periaortic fluid collection seen. Findings are consistent with an infrarenal abdominal aortic aneurysm. No sonographic evidence of rupture at present. Recommend CT angiography for further evaluation and surgical planning. While scanning the aorta, always ask yourself a few critical questions. Is the abdominal aorta larger than 3 centimeters in diameter? Are the iliac arteries larger than 1.5 centimeters? Is the aorta larger than 5.5 centimeters, which makes it an emergency? Is there any mural thrombus or atherosclerosis present? Is there any evidence of aortic dissection? Always measure the maximum anteroposterior and transverse diameters. Measurements must be taken from outer wall to outer wall. Always include atherosclerosis or thrombus in the measurement. Color Doppler is very helpful to differentiate the true lumen from thrombus. Incorrect placement of calipers can underestimate the true diameter. Measurements should match in both transverse and longitudinal views. If there is any difference, reassess carefully and identify the largest diameter. Repeat measurements multiple times to confirm accuracy. Never forget to assess the iliac arteries. Associated iliac aneurysms are common and must always be checked. A tortuous aorta can mimic an aneurysm. This can be confirmed by scanning the vessel in multiple planes. Never rely on a single view. Scan aorta in both transverse and longitudinal view. In emergency situations, do not delay management by waiting for a CT scan. If an abdominal aortic aneurysm is seen on ultrasound and the patient shows signs of shock, immediately refer for vascular surgery. In obese patients or patients with poor visualization, the spine may be mistaken for the posterior wall of the aorta. This can make the aorta appear much larger than it truly is. Use color Doppler to confirm the spine. If the anterior approach is unclear due to body habitus, use the flank approach to improve visualization. Management depends on aneurysm size. An aneurysm measuring 3 to 4 centimeters requires annual follow-up. An aneurysm measuring 4 to 4.5 centimeters should be followed every 6 months. An aneurysm larger than 4.5 centimeters needs immediate referral to vascular surgery. Surgery is indicated when the aneurysm measures more than 5.5 centimeters. Surgery is also indicated if the aneurysm reaches 2.5 times the normal aortic diameter or if it is rapidly enlarging more than 1 centimeter per year. These situations carry a high risk of rupture and require surgical or endovascular repair. The risk of rupture depends mainly on aneurysm size and growth rate. Significant growth is defined as more than 0.5 centimeters in 6 months or more than 1 centimeter in 12 months. For aneurysms measuring 4 to 5 centimeters, the rupture risk is about 1 to 3% per year. For aneurysms measuring 5 to 7 centimeters, the risk increases to about 6 to 11% per year. For aneurysms larger than 7 centimeters, the annual risk of rupture rises dramatically to around 26%. If this video helped improve your ultrasound skills, please do these 3 things for me. First, like this video. Second, subscribe to the channel. Third, write the topic you want me to cover in the next video in the comments. Your support helps this channel grow, and your suggestions help me make better videos for you. Thank you for watching.